I already said it's Tuesday. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos behind the glass. What's up, Joe?
Hey, man, it's always good to over communicate. So anything you want to, it's Tuesday, you want to say it 30 times. I will tell you this, though. Chase, you know you hate this, and I hate it too. It's a Chamber of Commerce day in Nashville, Tennessee.
It sure is. Weather is gorgeous. There's no rain. Not too hot, not too cold. Feels great.
Perfect. It's like that, when we have our pregame show sessions and then Dr. Crane makes that perfect cup of coffee. I mean, that's like that. So our extensive pre-show meetings.
He makes it for himself. He doesn't make it for us.
Well, I don't know what meeting you're going to, but this guy, man, it's a big night for Dr. Crane too.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm going to do a concert. How about that?
Good for you.
Who are you going to see?
I'm going to see Ernest and Ella Langley, the Ryman.
Nice. Yeah. That'll be a good time.
Is it Ernest and Friends or is it Ernest and Ella?
It says Ernest and Ella.
Nice. Nice.
He was a part of that album, that Dandelion album.
Okay.
So he was a few featured songs.
Oh, that's why I walked in. You were listening to Ella, and you're a little emotional yesterday listening to that album. Me? That's okay. I get it, man. I get it. When I listen to some albums, I get a little, like Purple Rain by Prince, man, right in the feels every time.
Don't forget about Olivia Newton-John.
That's good. That's more of Chaser style, but that's all right though.
Well, yes. So we are, I guess we are watching, we're keeping an eye on Bridgestone Arena for the gold smoke, because there are reports out there. Elliot Friedman said the Predators have been granted permission to speak to Chris MacFarland, who is the general manager of the Colorado Avalanche, about the opening here.
So he's under contract there?
He is, but he's not the shot caller, as they call it. Joe Sakic, the Hall of Fame player, is the president of hockey operations. So final say goes through him. Chris does have the GM title.
Okay. And so he would, if he's their guy, is he GM or is he would be another, you keep talking about hockey operations?
I would assume whatever the title that says you have final say and control, whatever that looks like, that's what it would be. Elliott goes on to say, according to several sources, MacFarland met face-to-face last night with owner Bill Haslam, and the goal is for the Predators to close this quickly. They know they will have to hand the keys to MacFarland and are prepared to do so. Stay tuned.
Where do you think they met? Rotiers is gone. Rotiers. What do you think they met?
They met
wouldn't the Hardys like off Otica Boulevard and Hermitage be so good?
What is the name of that? I was gonna make a what is it? This is killing me, the name of this restaurant.
Brown's, Arnold's.
They met at the Bob Evans over by Opryland.
Bob Evans, yeah. Well, you got to be over 60. I guess one of them's over 60 to get in there. Hey, that Bob Evans, that's the place.
It's a good Bob Evans.
One day we're going to come in, they're going to say Nick Frazier no longer works here. We're going to go to Bob Evans. He's the host. Hey, guys, what's going on here? I thought I'd just go ahead and start early. I'm like, all right. That's interesting. So let's read the tea leaves. You never know, man. But you know what? Yep. We've heard this before of like, oh, that's the guy. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it's just somebody else. So you never know.
We'll find out. Whenever they announce it or whatever, if Elliot has more, we're obviously paying attention, but it does feel like things are moving in the right direction.
Did they hire a search group, the Predators?
So I think they did initially, and then it was like that wasn't good. They weren't supposed to do that, so then they didn't do that.
And then Uncle Nick came in and said, what are y'all doing here?
I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I know Trotz, Saban, Haslam, Sean Henry. I mean, they've all obviously been a part of this. So
I dig it. Saban's got his hands in there a little bit. That's fine. I just always laugh when I hear Saban making decisions. I always go back to that Verbo commercial he's got. It's the best. Have you seen that? You have not.
I have not.
You've not seen the Verbo commercial?
Yeah. Where he's in the hot tub.
Yeah, you're right over there.
Yeah. No, I'm.
He's in the hot tub. He's like, no showers longer than 5 minutes. I mean, it's very funny commercial, but good. Look, if Saban's got his claws in this, I'm all aboard, man.
So, this is funny. This is why I'm laughing. 4312 says, I forgot to ask yesterday. I want to make the anti-NASCAR listener mad again. Were they running the 750 horse package on Sunday? Yes, they were. And then 7606, who's the guy that doesn't like NASCAR, Bob Evans, geez, can we talk racing?
I got a feeling. I think I know who 7606 is. I got a good feeling on this. Good. Hopefully we'll make him irate again today and he listens the entire time.
Oh, you think you know who he is?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He knows.
Oh, we know. I mean, well, we have we track. It can track
Yes.
people.
Yep. We put in the old flux capacitor.
Yeah, Dr. Crane was able to track him down.
White pages, and there you go. Bingo. We got this guy.
No, we kid.
Have you seen the thing now with Metro Police where they got the drone that if you call in, the drone takes off and surveys the situation?
I heard about this.
It's crazy because there was like some guy that was some domestic assault and the drone was able to track him. He was like leaving the neighborhood and the cops got him. I'm all for that. People are like, oh, the drone. Look, don't do stupid stuff. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
3079 says it's my friend Alex's birthday today. He's a big fan. Can we get a shout out for him? He would love that. Happy birthday, Alex.
Alex, happy birthday. How old is Alex? Let us know how old Alex is. Happy birthday, buddy. Do a whole show for birthdays. Maybe we'll put you in celebrity birthdays later on.
Yeah. Speaking of birthdays, it is Jill Jelnick's birthday.
It is.
Happy birthday to Jill Jelnick and the great Rick Merritt. Happy birthday, Ricky.
Yeah, right. So well done there.
So we got a lot of famous birthdays on June 2nd.
Well, Rick Merritt, he is the lead insider for the Young Athletics. So he's probably all into this.
He did. He actually reported that Barry Trotz, after this hire is made, will not be the general manager anymore.
Holy cow. Do you need a breaking sound?
I don't know. I mean, it just that how this works is Barry will be able to retire.
Crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
That's how you get there. That's how you become an insider with things like that. Let people know about it.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Are you going to watch? We got the Stanley Cup final that starts tonight. The NBA finals start tomorrow. So, and then we kind of go into the baseball is all we got. Well, we got World Cup. Got that going.
Don't hate me.
I know you won't. You won't. That's
don't
fine.
Hate me. Please don't. I like being honest with you and Dr. Crane.
No, it's fine. You only watch the Preds.
I will not watch a single second of the Stanley Cup. I tell you, when the Preds are involved, I am absolutely all in on everything Nashville Predators. When they're not involved, I'm out, man. Now, I might check in on the NBA. I like to see the Spurs whip the Knicks just because of our friend Luke Cornett. I think that might be an exciting series. The Spurs OKC was great.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched pro basketball in years. That was a great series. So
there's one guy that I guess he's now on the Knicks, but he's guaranteed no matter what to get a ring because he started the season with the Spurs.
Really?
Or it's the other way around, but he's played for both teams and he got traded. And so if you're on the roster at any point, you get a ring.
See, I wouldn't take it. And here's an example. In 1987, the NFL had the strike. So the Redskins won the Super Bowl. So Tony Robinson, the former Tennessee quarterback, was quarterback for the Redskins. And he won a Super Bowl because he had the scab games for 3 games. And those guys all got Super Bowl rings. I don't think I would take it if I'm not part of that team that won the champion. I'm just different, but that's me. I would not take a ring doing that part. But if you want a ring, that's fine.
Yep. So I don't know. That's just how it works. It's Jeremy. How do you say his last name? Sochin.
That's my assumption, but yeah.
Okay. Jeremy Sochin.
Who's he on now?
Leave
The Knicks. I think it's the Knicks.
All right. Yeah, go. If you get it.
If you're the NBA, they'll never admit this. I would think you'd want the Knicks to win because it's New York and they haven't done it in a long time. But San Antonio is a dynasty, and this is kind of like the first time without Popovich, and you have Wemby, who is going to be the face of the NBA.
He's the absolute future of the league. So they're in a win-win. I mean, they really, you got the best player in the league. I know SGA was the MVP.
Who's the main guy for the Knicks?
Oh, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. I mean, he's up there.
It's good. I mean, you get the number one market. This is the number one TV market going against the face of the NBA. You couldn't have set it up any better. Good for them. Now, they want 7 games. Obviously, what you want to have that to go. And so good for the NBA, man. It worked out well for them. And you get the guy who's the next coming of the great player in the league. And see what he can do against the number one team, number one market. It's a win-win for the NBA.
Yeah. So, and then look, I even think for the NHL, Vegas has become the evil empire that everybody hates because they have, unless you're there, because, the rules were changed and they should have been with the expansion draft because, the Predators paid like hundreds of thousands for an expansion fee and Vegas paid hundreds of millions for an expansion fee. So they should have been allowed to be competitive. The problem was all the GMs freaked out and gave them more than they really needed.
Yeah.
And so they've gone to the Stanley Cup final 3 times in their 9-year existence. But that makes it fun.
Well.
Right. Oh, well, then beat them.
Right.
And I think Carolina will beat them. I think Carolina wins this. I'd originally thought 5. I'm going to say 6. I think Carolina and
What
6.
changed your mind, pal?
Because I think Vegas is running on this adrenaline that John Tortorella has brought. He was hired with 8 games left.
Yeah.
Bruce Cassidy was fired. And I think Torts has added some, just fire to them. And they've gone on this run. But I think Carolina's the better team.
It starts tonight. Is it on the 102.5 The Game?
It is on 102.5 The Game. Here's a fun fact for you.
Yeah, I like these.
If Carolina wins the Stanley Cup, the last time they won the Stanley Cup, you remember who the head coach was? Peter Laviolette. The captain was Rod Brindamore, who is now the head coach.
That's right.
So he would have won back-to-back, both Stanley Cups with Carolina, one as a player, one as a coach.
First time since, they put the stat up during the game the other night. Like, it happened a long time ago.
Well, Crispy, but not with the same team.
Same team, yeah. It was the same team. When we come back, can I do my Preds rant?
Sure.
It's not a bad thing, but it's about something that's happening overseas.
Yeah.
And all right. Let me, fans, you'll love this. Friends, neighbors, you'll love this.
Okay.
Including you, Dr. Crane.
We will do that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni, 102.5 The Game.
All right, welcome back to the Chase and Big Joe show right here, 102.5. The Game brought to you by the Omni Nashville Hotel. Friday, looking forward to it. Dr. Crane and I'll be over in Lebanon. You can say Lebanon or Lebanon, just not Lebanon. Friday, we'll be at Dr. Maddie Haley's office, veterinarian practice, Haley Veterinarian Care. We'll do our show live there, you and me.
I'm excited.
Chase has some things to do. We'll be down there Friday from noon to 3, hang out with Dr. Haley, and he'll come on the show. He's the exotic vet. We run the commercials all the time. Great guy. And if he brings a snake out, I'm gone.
Well, I was telling you yesterday, Joe, I feel like if I get enough confidence in me, I might maybe see if he'd let me hold a snake.
No, if he brings a snake out, I'll keep it at a good distance. I'm done. And people are like, why are you so sissy for snakes? Look, we're all sissies for snakes, right? Those videos on the internet where they attach the fake snake to the back of their shirt and people running, great. But I'm telling you, you put a fake snake on me, I'm prepared to go to prison. And I think a lot of people are the same way, prepared to do that. So that's Friday, noon to 3 in Lebanon. So stop by and say hi to us at Dr. Haley Veterinarian Care up there. All right, here's my quick rant. And we got some big news coming later in the show and everything. But here's my rant. And please don't get mad at me. Please don't. But I think I've talked to some about this, and they agree. All right, Roman Josi just won some award at the World Games MVP for his team over there. And
IIHF. Yep.
Okay, and UC Saros did really well.
Justus Onanen.
And Justus, both of them, right?
Just Justus Onanen.
Oh, Onanen. See how that shows you
he
what I
won
don't
gold
know.
for Finland.
Okay.
Yes, continue.
I don't care. I really don't care what these guys do on the world stage. I don't care. All I care about is, can you beat San Jose and get your hockey team into the playoffs? That's all I care about. That's great. You go on the world stage and you win awards and you be MVP and Onanen becomes the goalie and he's a brick. That's great. That's fantastic. I don't care. All I want you guys to do is win for the Nashville Predators. Now, I talked to Dr. Crane about these Nashville SC guys who go and do great things for countries and club teams, whatever. I don't care. I want you to do well for Nashville SC. I want you to do well for the Nashville Predators. I don't give a damn how great you are in the whatever this is again.
The IIHF, the worlds.
Okay, some acronym I've never heard of. But that's fine. God, that is great. That's good for you. But I don't care. And am I in the wrong here? Or am I in the minority or am I in the majority? I don't know. I don't care on that. But I'm just saying, I want you to do well here. I want you to beat San Jose to get in the playoffs. I want you to shut out Anaheim to get those are important to me. I don't care about the other stuff.
I think you're in the minority, Joe. I really do. I mean, look, the world stage of international hockey and international soccer is great, not only for brand exposure for the club, fantastic. That's great. Talking about hockey and other sports, that's great.
Okay.
But it also increases the player value in the respected league they're in.
But you didn't make the playoffs.
It doesn't matter.
So I don't give a damn.
In the situation the Preds are in right now, like a guy like Jonathan.
I don't care.
Here, let me finish. Hang on. When you have guys like Jonathan Marchessault, Steven Stamkos, I'm not saying Stamkos had a down year, but Marchessault, for example, had a down year. If you were to play at the international spectrum of it all for your nation and you play really well, that increases your value going into next season if they were to offload you somewhere else.
Okay.
I'm sure Chase is on the same board as me.
All right. So sorry, I've had phone calls.
That's okay. No, I'm just saying I don't give a damn what they do on the world stage. I care what they do for the Nashville Predators.
Okay.
I care that they, beat San Jose, get in the playoffs. I don't care that Sweden beat Finland or I don't care about that.
You don't think they should be allowed to represent their countries?
They can do whatever they want. I'm just saying I don't care.
Okay.
I want you to win games here in Nashville.
I don't care that you don't care.
Exactly.
That's fine.
That's fine. I want them to win games in Nashville. I
Sure.
want to play the
As you
Nashville
should.
Predators. And that's fine. They can Josi win an MVP. That's great. Put a trophy on your mantle. Don't care. I don't care. I want you to win here in Bridgestone. I want you to win for the team that's paying you the money. And that's Nashville SC and that's Nashville that's anything.
1993 says, Joe, I love you, but you're not a sports fan. You're a football fan.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Well, I think he's saying all you care about is football.
I do care about football, but I also like to see the Nashville Predators succeed. I'm a big Nashville Predator fan. I like for them to win. And that's great.
A lot of people, like, it's 50-50. Some are against you and some are with you.
It's great. I'm glad he got the MVP. I'm glad Onanen's stopping everybody, but do it here. This is far more important. You want to play for your country? Go play for your country. Then don't play here.
There's a little more tentacles to that, Joe. I mean, Justus Onanen caught some, fire at the end of last season. And I mean, we saw him be one of the better goaltenders for the time being. Roman Yossi's still at the highest level playing for Switzerland.
Great.
It's great. But Chase, to my point, what I was trying to tell Joe is that when these players play at the international level, they're increasing their own stock of their style of play, along with increasing trade value for their respective club.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm with him. I'm with him on that. My thing is, I don't like the world championships or whatever. I really don't pay attention to those.
Yeah.
The Olympics, absolutely.
I think it's a little different.
The Four Nations. I would sign up for a Four Nations over an All-Star game every year. I think All-Star games have jumped the shark and are stupid and need to go away.
That's fine. But again, I don't, it's like, oh, he won this and did that, and this guy and Ryan O'Reilly did that for Canada. Don't care. What did you do for the Nashville Predators? You mean the playoffs in 2 years?
No, and look, I understand what you're saying because I ultimately want to see them win a Stanley Cup here, but I also understand, like, now that their season is over, if they want to go play internationally, then fine.
Got no problem with it.
Just don't care. Okay. That is fair.
All right.
You're allowed to feel that way. 615-737-1025. A small update. Elliot Friedman did put out there about 13 minutes ago. Things are moving along. We will see when it officially closes, but the Nashville Predators are closing in with Chris MacFarland to be the organization's new president of hockey operations and general manager. It's going to get done. That is Elliot Friedman. That's what he has put out there. So we will talk about that and so much more. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe on this Tuesday, 615-737-1025 is our phone line if you want to weigh in. Broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Game Nashville Studios, over the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. How we doing? He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. And ladies and gentlemen, the Nashville Predators have made it official. Chris MacFarland has been hired as the president of hockey operations and general manager. The team has just put that out there. He will leave the Colorado Avalanche and come to Smashville as the new GM. But the full title is President of Hockey Operations and General Manager. Chris MacFarland joins the Preds.
There you go, buddy. You like this or no?
I love this. I think this is a home run hire. You have a guy that has built one of the toughest teams in the National Hockey League. They've won a Stanley Cup. Obviously, Joe Sakic has been a huge part of that too, but he's been, in the room with it and built it and had his hands all over it. So I think this is a great move. We have put the Pred head bat signal out for Sean Henry, and we do believe he is going to join us at some point during the show. He said from the very beginning he wasn't going to talk about it until somebody was hired, and
good.
Now somebody has been hired. So the Preds, I know that Elliott and Pierre LeBrun were throwing it out there, but the Predators have made it official. It is out there. Chris MacFarland has been hired.
I like it's and this is such a tired statement, but outside the family, right? I mean, it's fresh eyes, fresh voice, fresh everything else coming in and see what they can do. So if you like it, I like it. I'm on board. And then October gets here and see what happens. What's the draft, right? In a few weeks?
Yeah. So you get somebody in before the draft, which is huge.
Is July 1st the free agent day? Is
yes.
that right? Okay. And then get it done. Okay.
But let's see. So to kind of give you more context, he's been with the Avs for the last 4 years, won the Stanley Cup in 22. So the press release, Bill Haslam put this out there. Chris MacFarland has been hired as president of hockey operations / general manager. And MacFarland, of course, will take over for Barry Trotz, who will transition into an advisory role with the organization. The quotes here, we could not be more pleased that Chris has elected to join the Predators organization and lead our hockey operations group, Haslam said. We conducted an exhaustive search and were able to meet with several very qualified and impressive candidates. But all along, we were hopeful to interview Chris. He turned out to be a perfect fit for us, just what we were looking for to lead our organization moving forward. I'd like to thank the Colorado Avalanche, the Kroenke family, and Joe Sakic for giving Chris permission to talk with us and for supporting his desire to make this move. I'd also like to thank the members of our search committee, those who express interest in joining the Predators in this role, and especially Barry Trotz for his work in positioning Chris for success. We appreciate everyone's time and effort in this endeavor.
There you go, buddy. Done. Chris MacFarland coming in.
So he has he joins the Preds organization after spending the previous 11 seasons with the Avs, including the past 4 as the general manager. He worked with Sakic, the Avalanche, as president of hockey operations and Hockey Hall of Famer, to build the 2022 Stanley Cup championship team. Colorado has also made the playoffs in 9 straight campaigns, tied for the longest active streak in the NHL. During his 4-season tenure as general manager, Colorado won the President's Trophy, earned 2 Central Division titles, led the NHL in wins with 205, and scored the second most goals per game, 3.5, and allowed the 4th fewest goals per game, 2.75.
So let me ask you this. So he's both hockey operations and general manager for the Predators?
Yes.
So then you don't need to hire another person, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And we'll see, what his staff looks like with, there are currently 3 assistant general managers on staff with Scott Nickel, Jeff Kelty, and Brian Poyle. We'll see if they will keep them, he'll keep them or what that all looks like. Obviously, there will be time. A lot of questions out there that probably won't be answered right away. But, I am told that there will be an 11 o'clock press conference tomorrow that will introduce him. And maybe some of those questions will be answered then.
He looks like a little bit like Toby from The Office.
He does kind of look like,
not all the way, but kind of. He looks like Toby a little bit from The Office. He's wearing glasses in this picture. So, look, man, if you're happy with it and really thinks it's a good deal, and so I'm just curious from this aspect of looking into it, how much Saban was a part of this. Was he small part, big part? Was it collective to do? And was this their guy the entire time? I think that's the part I wanted. Was this their? And they're going to
it sounds like it.
They're going to say yes, but was this their guy they want? And now they have given him the keys to the franchise.
615-737-1025. Your reaction. It is official. Chris MacFarland is the president of hockey operations and general manager of the Nashville Predators. He will leave the Colorado Avalanche. He said in the release, quote, "My wife, Chandra, and I, together with our children, are grateful to Bill and Chrissy Haslam and the entire Nashville Predators family for this opportunity. We also thank everyone at the Avalanche, including Joe Sakic and the Kroenke family, for their support in pursuing this position with the Predators. I believe Nashville will be a great fit for me. I know this is a proud organization with a solid track record of putting together teams that fans of Smashville support wholeheartedly. My goal here is to build a winner, working with Bill Haslam, Sean Henry, and our hockey operations staff and players to put a team on the ice that will compete for the Stanley Cup. I'm excited about our future."
I like it. That's a good way to put it there. And it's a big deal because it's the third general manager in 30 years, basically, for the franchise. And it's an important one. I mean, this is, it's an important season for the Nashville Predators to get back going and see what they can do. And I just think it's a lot of excitement. If this is their guy and they believe in him, he's the one going forward. Let's roll.
I love this. So this is a quote from Trotz. "I am pleased to welcome C-Mac to the Predators organization, and I pledge to help him fulfill his vision in any way that I can for the next year. Chris is a great competitor and one of the best in the business. I know he's going to do an excellent job leading our hockey operations group, and I look forward to assisting him as we move forward. Since making my announcement this past February, I have been working with a focus on turning the team over to our new general manager in the best possible position to achieve success, and I'm confident that Chris has the tools necessary to build a winner here in Nashville."
Grateful. That's nice. Yeah.
Yep.
Class act all the way.
So the scouting combine is going on right now in Buffalo. The 2026 NHL draft will be June 26th through the 27th in Buffalo, and then Dev Camp starts here June 28th. Free agency July 1. So they accomplished their goal. They got their guy in before the draft.
Right.
And look, he's been doing draft prep for Colorado. So, I mean, he knows the prospects.
I was going to ask you that. I was like, when he left, does he take the sheet of paper with him? That's got all the
he's probably got a sheet of paper in his head.
Wow. I mean, to take everything, like all the notes, and forward them over, and let's get going there.
Yeah. But I mean, look, isn't this how it's supposed to be? That you have, even if you kind of grow up in one organization, if there's a guy ahead of you that isn't going anywhere and you want to grow, then
all the time,
then you move on.
Yeah.
So a lot of reaction to this. Our YouTube chat, Predemption said, "How are we doing, Chase? I'm doing absolutely wonderful. William Edward Haslam, I love you." So very happy about that.
That's his middle name, Edward?
I guess.
I didn't know that. We'll call him that tomorrow when we see him.
Hey, our buddy Gover says, "The biggest question I have, how much of Colorado's recent success is what he orchestrated versus having McKinnon and Makar on the roster?" Sure. That's a fair question.
Yeah. I mean, you got great players that you're going to have usually a pretty good team. And if he has a hand in finding those guys, heck yeah.
Yep. Mike in Lebanon, love this hire by the Preds. I feel like that's going to be the general consensus. And I don't know how much of that is you hired a guy from a Stanley Cup winner, and how much of that is it's a name you don't know.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of both.
I'm curious what put him at the top for the Preds for the search and everything. I'm sure there's a lot of guys around the league who are, equally qualified, at least close to that. And then to go out and land a guy, I mean, that's, again, if everybody's happy with that, then let's go see what happens in October, man.
615-737-1025. How do you think he's going to evaluate Andrew Brunette?
Gosh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, I mean, it's your team now, right? You want your guy in there.
I think you leave him for at least a year. I think
I don't. I think if it's a new GM,
well, because here's the thing. if you come in, and we're gonna have a lot of time to break this down, but my thought is, if you come in and you tear it down to the studs,
right?
then you're going to be bad. That's how it goes. So do you want to go ahead and bring your guy in to rebuild it, or are you going to do what a lot of teams do, and that is you're going to kind of keep the guy in place,
right?
And then you'll eventually
be honest. Do you need to tear this team down?
I wouldn't tear it down to the studs.
No, I don't think so. So you got some superstars. You got some really good young players we saw come at the end of last year who get a lot of playing time. Why not just go ahead and get the new guy in here and go? Why not? Well, I mean, you got a new GM, get a new coach. And that's nothing against Andrew Burnett. I like Andrew Burnett. I don't know him that well, but
I do too. I mean,
but bring in your team. Nobody's going to get mad if you bring in your team.
Correct.
Your guy. Nobody got mad at Barry Trotz bringing Andrew Burnett, at least what I remember.
No.
That's his guy.
Nobody got mad. Everybody that wants to hate on Trotz and say he hasn't made a right move, all the moves he made when he made him, you all loved.
Yeah. But you got to win.
Unfortunately, they didn't win it didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, you've missed the playoffs the last 2 years, and so I understand that. But, at the time, the moves, we were like, I mean, hell yeah, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Shea. Okay, let's go.
Gosh, 2 years ago.
Ryan O'Reilly, which Ryan O'Reilly's been very good. If I am Chris MacFarland, I look at some of those veteran players, Forsberg, Yossi, and I think one thing you have to do is you have to have conversations with those guys and go, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. Do you want to be a part of it? And if they don't, you don't hold it against them. But if Roman Yossi goes to Chris MacFarland and says, hey, I love Nashville. I've played my whole career here. But if you're telling me you think we're 3 or 4 years away from winning a Stanley Cup, I'd like to go chase a cup somewhere. And I don't think anybody would hold anything against him if that were the case.
Boy, that's a tough one.
Same with Forsberg. Now, if they're like, hey, we're with you. Whatever happens, happens. We've been here our whole career. We want to build this thing with you. Then great.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think those conversations have to happen. And I think they will happen. And then you decide, okay, O'Reilly's got 1 year on his contract. If you're going to have a bunch of young guys up here, I would keep Ryan O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
I would 100% keep Ryan O'Reilly. And Stamkos, you're kind of having the same conversation with him that you're having with some of your pillar guys that have been here for a long time.
Well, I mean, now it's his. See what you can do. I think if you could get Stamkos to someplace else and get a few assets for him, why not, right? I mean, it's not getting any younger, but again, if you believe this team can come together and do something special, give it one more ride with a new coach and new GM, let it go. Throw everything against the wall, man. I throw everything against the wall and try to see what you can do. And then if it doesn't work, then there's always next year. I mean, 2 years ago when they signed these guys, name only, I'm like, oh, man, this is at least to the conference final. And they didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
And they didn't make the playoffs this year. It's like, all right, at what point does it all come together and feel good? Or what point do you say, all right, we gave it a good shot, let's move on?
Well, as someone says on our YouTube chat, the hiring is good, but guess how the Avalanche got Nathan McKinnon? You'll be shocked. They sucked. They did. I mean, and that is the decision that you have to make as an organization of, are you going to tear it down to the studs and then get those draft picks? Here's the problem. That doesn't always work.
Right.
So it is a crapshoot. Now, Colorado has done this because I think they've done it very similar to what the Predators are trying to do, that they've had some veteran pieces in there that they've been, they missed the playoffs for a while. They got guys like Makar and McKinnon. They made the big trade where they traded Duchesne to Ottawa and got the defenseman from here in the three-way trade that put Kyle Turris here. That was a pretty big piece for them. So, and they've since traded him. But I think it's if he comes in, if Chris MacFarland looked at Bill Haslam and Sean Henry and Nick Saban and everybody and said, I'm going to come in and I'm going to tear it down to the studs, then they had to be okay with that to make this hire. But I don't think that's what they're going to do.
And I don't want to hear that.
And I don't think, and Bill Haslam has said it, that he's not really comfortable with a full-on rebuild.
No. Because you know what? Rebuild doesn't sell tickets.
No.
Just doesn't.
No, and I have more examples of them not working than I do them working.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
615-737-1025. Full reaction calls or text. Chris MacFarland is the new president of hockey operations and general manager for the Nashville Predators. What do you think? 615-737-1025 is Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Predators have hired Chris MacFarland as the president of hockey operations and general manager. He will be officially introduced tomorrow at 11 o'clock in a press conference, which will take place at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. We will have full coverage of that. You can hear it right here on 102.5 The Game. Joe and I will be doing the show from there as well, and are expected to be joined by Chris MacFarland at some point during tomorrow's show. We believe Sean Henry is going to join us today as well. So Chris MacFarland will be there. Bill Haslam and Sean Henry will be at the press conference tomorrow at 11 o'clock at the BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. So that is a very, very exciting. The Avalanche have sent out a statement as well, and they have said, quote, "We would like to thank Chris for all he did for the Avalanche organization. Chris was instrumental in our success over the last decade and a key part of our 2022 Stanley Cup championship. This was an opportunity for him to take on a bigger role with the Predators while being closer to his family. We wish him and his family all the best in Nashville. Joe Sakic will resume the general manager duties for the foreseeable future, including through this month's draft and the start of the league year." So he basically just will do both.
Okay,
with
well,
the
good.
Avs.
All right, so of them coming in, does he? Of course, he's got his eyes on bringing somebody in here. I mean, there's some nice stars in the league that'd be like, all right, how's it with like a Connor McDavid or some Kachuk to bring in here? Like, all right, let's get this going. I kind of hit the ground running with a big name.
So that is a great question. Let me start with Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid are basically on bridge deals right now, which means, well, I guess Connor's more of a bridge deal, and I think Matthews has 2 more years left. But anyway, they both could be free agents in 2 years. You bring up Brady Tkachuk, you would have to trade for him. That's an asset you would have to trade for, which you could potentially do. So the question is, do you tear down to the studs, draft the guy, which is unproven? You have no idea. Or do you build towards a position where you go try and get one of those big fish in a couple of years? I kind of feel like that's more where they're going to go.
Okay.
That you're going to see them, and now whether they want to come to Nashville or not, but I think Nashville is a market. I mean, we've seen guys want to come here.
Right.
We've seen guys not want to come here at one point in time, but Matt Duchene wanted to play here. I mean, he did.
Yeah.
Steven Stamkos wanted to play here. So I think that it would be attractive. But again, if you're Connor McDavid, if you're Austin Matthews, if you're one of these guys, you want to sign, if you're going to leave Edmonton for McDavid or Toronto for Matthews, then you're going to want to sign with an organization that has their stuff together and they're ready to go. That you are basically the missing piece.
Yes.
That you say to McDavid, hey, we have this, this, and this. We add you. We're going to go win the Stanley Cup.
I like it. They ain't coming for a rebuild.
No.
I know money's money. I
no,
get all
and
that,
look,
but
they would sign long-term deals, and they're not necessarily coming in to win the cup the first year.
Yeah.
Like, you got to build towards it.
Right.
But, like, you're coming in to start going to the playoffs and competing for championships. That's what Chris MacFarland's being hired to do.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, that's the thing. It's like we want to get somebody in here. And look, we all bought in with 3 years ago with Stamkos and the guys coming here. I did. I'm like, oh, this is Stanley Cup bound, but didn't happen. And now, but if I'm coming in as a GM, I'm hitting the ground running and I want to win. I don't like, all right, let's see what we can do. Because if your rebuild doesn't take place in 3 years, guess who's out? You are. If you come in, you can start winning some games. That's why I think it's imperative to have your guys in here, especially behind the bench, to go forward on this, because there's really some good talent with Forsberg and Yossi and O'Reilly and some of those guys. And so I just think you get the ground with that and say, that's what we got.
There is, but you don't have the game-changing, franchise-changing forward.
But who does? How many teams got that guy?
The Avalanche have that guy. The Oilers have that guy. Toronto has that guy.
Maybe quarter of the
San
league?
Jose has that guy. Yeah, I mean, it's not many. They don't grow on trees.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, that's what you need.
Uh-huh.
Like, you gotta find that guy. Like, they've never had defenseman, yes. Forward, they've never had that. Legwan wasn't that guy. They traded for Johansson. They got a few good years out of Johansson.
Uh-huh.
But again, was he ever truly that franchise-changing forward?
Yeah.
The answer is no. They've just never had that guy. And again, you you fight and you fight and you fight to find that, but
Well,
again,
and
they don't
also,
grow on trees.
I think you get lucky because look,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
if the Capitals don't trade for Martin Erat in 2014, Philip Forsberg's not here, which is still one of the most bizarre, crazy trades of all time that they wish they could get back. And so here's Forsberg. You get lucky sometimes.
9264 says he will keep Brunette. I'm very curious to see what happens July 1st with the new league year and free agency, all the roster decisions. I wouldn't be super active in free agency because I don't think there's a lot of really good free agents out there. Now, if there's some trades you want to make, you have draft capital and assets to make trades.
Right.
You could certainly do that. But, I want to see a lot of these young kids get some opportunities. And I think for that right now, you do keep Andrew Brunette.
Okay. We shall see.
See what happens. That's how I would go. John in Nashville makes a good point. The two teams in the Stanley Cup final do not have that guy, so why need it? They do have. Vegas does. I mean, Vegas, like Jack Eichel is pretty damn good. I mean, Mark Stone. I mean, they've acquired assets that kind of fill that role. Carolina, I mean, Sebastian Aho is good, but yeah, he's not McDavid, so that's fair. But they have assembled a full team of, extremely, like they have more than one Philip Forsberg.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of what the Preds.
Well, that's why I'm glad, a quarter of the league's got that guy. I mean, it's great if you have that guy, you see what can happen. But as he pointed out, Vegas and Carolina don't have that main guy to go get it done. So I don't know, man, but he's got his work cut out for him, but he seems like he's fired up and ready to go. And look, and has these guys, they've had plenty of time to look at everybody and vet people, and this is their guy, and the reactions is all, I'm looking everywhere on the interwebs. It's all positive. I mean, this guy is a star and rising, and even more so. And so now he gets to come here and call the shots.
615-737-1025. We will continue to react as the Predators have hired Chris MacFarland as their president of hockey operations and general manager. He joins the Preds after being with the Colorado Avalanche, where he won a Stanley Cup in 2022. Continue to have your reaction to this. The Preds have their man. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Usually joined by Tim Hasselback at this time, but he's got to move to later in the week for TV duties. So we'll let you know when he is going to be on. But the Predators have hired Chris MacFarland as their president of hockey operations and general manager as he takes over the hockey ops department. There is a lot of discussion on our text line and the YouTube chat of Andrew Brunette. What happens there? 0877 says, not sure if you guys were watching. I watch every game, but Brunette does not give the young kids as much ice time during the game. Not sure why you think keeping him is the best way for the organization to see what the young players actually have. Look, he hasn't been perfect, and I know that. But my thing is, I think MacFarland probably wants to come in and evaluate for a minute. Now, he doesn't have long to look at the roster and decide, okay, this guy needs to stay or this guy needs to go. But from a coaching standpoint, you're not going to win the Stanley Cup this year. Like I hate to break it to you, but you're not. Like, that's just how this works. So, give him a look. Or if you have a guy in mind already, like Barry Trotz did, then okay, then make the change. But here's why I think this is why I truly think he's going to, at least in the near future, keep Andrew Brunette. The Colorado Avalanche announced today that Joe Sakic will keep the GM title or regain the GM title. It also was made official that Jared Bednar will return as their head coach. He has 1 year left on his contract. So that's something to pay attention to as well. If next year the Avs don't win the Stanley Cup or, let's say they miss the play. I mean, they got some contracts and stuff they need to look at. Does Bednar decide, hey, I want to change the scenery? Hey, Chris, what's up? Would you say no to Jared Bednar in Nashville? I sure as hell wouldn't.
No, would not.
So that's something to pay attention to too. Your guy might be out there, but your guy might not be out there right now. So that's something to also consider.
So you're Brunette.
What happens with the head? Like, what happens with the head coach right now today really doesn't concern me because you got to build the roster first.
Okay. Don't you want the head coach to be part of that?
In some ways, but in some ways it's up to he's the guy. He's the president of hockey operations. He's the shot caller.
Okay.
He's the guy you have hired to build your roster.
But don't you want input from your coach?
I do.
Hey, how do you think this guy's
but again, I don't want you to I guess what I'm saying is if you're a guy, if there's a guy out there that you think is better than Andrew Brunette and that's the guy you want to hire, then go do it. That's fine. That's what Barry Trotz did. Barry Trotz thought that Andrew Brunette was better than John Hines. He fired John Hines and he brought in Andrew Brunette. And everybody supported that because he decided that's my guy.
Okay.
All right. If Chris MacFarland has a guy that he thinks is better than Brunette and wants him to be his guy, then fine. I have no issue with that. But if he has a guy that isn't available yet or doesn't have a guy yet, then don't make a change just to make a change.
So if you're Brunette and you get another year, you're going to make it hard as you know what to fire me.
Sure.
And then that's a good decision.
And that may or may not work.
And that's good for Chris MacFarland.
I think John Hines made it hard to fire him, but he got fired anyway.
That's right. It happens. He's gone, done well in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But if I am Brunette, I make it difficult for MacFarland to bring somebody else in here. And if that's the case, that means the Predators are winning games. They're in the playoffs.
Correct.
They got to get back to the playoffs. I mean, I know we took it for granted. They went so many years, but you look at the franchise like Buffalo hadn't been in forever. Chicago hasn't been in forever. Detroit hadn't been in forever. I don't think Predator fans are going to stick around 10 years and not be in the playoffs.
No, but
it's different.
No, but what a lot of people are saying today, and I've lost the text, so I forgot who said it, but somebody basically said my apathy for the Predators is gone. Like it's been reset, and good. I'm excited. And so now I do think there is patience because now you know that here's the guy that's going to take you where you hopefully want to go.
Yeah.
And so, again, who the head coach is really is not a major concern for me yet because now I want to see what's the roster plan. What's your Barry's always talked about the plan was in pencil and all that, or the plan was in pen, but the path was in pencil. Okay, great. I want to hear Chris MacFarland's plan now. So do you like this roster? Do you like the young there's two parts to this. Do you like the young guys that are on the roster? If the answer to that is no, then okay. Fine. You don't agree with that. So start changing that. The second part is, do you feel like the veterans on this roster can help you build for the future and win too and stay competitive now? If the answer is no, then start cleaning house. If the answer is yes, then start adding to that. He's going to be the one to decide that.
How does Brunette contract? Year, 2 years? Is it up?
I don't know actually. I think this is his last year
Coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think it might be.
Well, I mean, I don't know when he gets paid, but
so that's the other thing too. Of like, if he's on 1 year, then
right. Would you be surprised though if there's a change made in 2 weeks? Within the next
I would
2
not.
weeks?
I would not be surprised by anything.
Okay, that's good. That's a good reply.
No, I honestly like now it's a clean slate.
Okay.
Like now it's whatever Chris MacFarland wants to do.
All right, let me ask you.
He has carte blanche to do it.
You get first question tomorrow. What are you asking? You get the first question to Chris MacFarland. What are you asking?
What is your current? What is your, first glimpse evaluation of this roster, from prospects to veterans?
Okay,
Like
I would
when you look at the roster, and I know you haven't been able to do a deep dive, but like when you look at things, what's your evaluation?
All right, my thing is I would ask, why here?
That's a fair question.
And that way, I think you'd be like, I don't want a Miss America answer. I want a foundational answer. Like, well, you know what? And it falls into your question. Like, you got a few good iconic pieces here. You got this guy, that guy. Bring this up, and then move on.
So, according to Google, Andrew Brunette, his contract runs through this season with an additional option year. He signed a 4-year deal when he was hired in 2023. So it runs through the 26-27 season with an option year.
I wonder what kind of do they not? Everybody knows everybody in a sport. I wonder how well they know each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've crossed paths at some point.
Does Brunette need to be there tomorrow?
No, not necessarily. No, because he's going to, I mean, look, somebody's going to, and if they don't, I'll ask it. I mean, somebody is going to ask what's your evaluation of Andrew Brunette? Now, again, he just got the job.
Right.
So even to my question, it's going to be like, well, it's early. I think there's a lot of talented players on this team. Roman Josi is obviously a household name and a great captain, a great player, Philip Forsberg, but we're going to look at everything. Everything is going to go under the microscope, and we're going to try and build this into a Stanley Cup winner.
All right. Same question, but to Haslam. First question to Haslam. What do you ask?
Why Chris MacFarland? It seemed like this was the guy you targeted from the beginning. Why?
All right. Would you ask why not Tom Fitzgerald? Or is that not appropriate at the time? Does that not matter?
No, because I don't care.
Okay. All right.
Because you've answered that. You didn't hire him.
All right. And it would the standard question of, hey, I guess a lot of people were interested in this job. And I think they are. I mean, it's a general manager job.
I think a ton of people were interested.
Right. And that's one day when the text like, oh, nobody cares about general manager of the Predators. I'm like, look, it's only 32 of these jobs in the world. We talked to Wyshynski about this last week. I mean, it is a prime job because it's a general manager of a professional sports franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It is. I mean, you should see our YouTube chat. They're just all talking to each other right now.
Happy, sad, mad, glad.
It seems like most people like this.
Okay.
But there is always going to be the debate of tearing it down to the studs.
Sure.
But
you look at the YouTube chat, okay? That's good for the Nashville Predators. Because you know why? If 2 people are commenting on that after everybody in the listening area, then you got a problem because nobody cares. But you got people commenting and acting and talking and seeing what they can do and happy or sad. That means people care about your franchise, and that's big time.
So Colorado, this is obviously going to be the comparison because this is where Chris MacFarland has come from. And he was there as an assistant GM for a few years and then was the GM the last 4 years. So in the last 4 years, they've lost in the conference final, lost in the first round, lost in the second round, lost in the first round, and then they won the Stanley Cup in 21-22. So, and then before that, first round, second round, second round, second round. But they're a perennial playoff team with a Stanley Cup. So if you look at it, like if you kind of look at that resume, the Predators, when they had their run, it was very similar, except for they didn't win the Stanley Cup.
It's very true.
That shows you how hard it is to win.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, well, I mean, I'm tired of just making the playoffs. Fair.
Right.
And they made, when they started this run, they lost in the first round, but then 3 straight losses in the second round before winning the Stanley Cup. Lost in the first round again, lost in the second round, lost in the first round again, and then made the conference final.
What does it say that Colorado let him go? Being nice?
Yeah, I mean, I think
because Haslam thanked Kroenke in
no,
his statement.
I think it's because they knew this was a step up.
Okay.
Because Joe Sakic's not going anywhere anytime soon. So this is now an opportunity to go in and be, big baller shot caller. Be the guy to make all the calls.
Okay. I like it.
So
could they have kept him?
Sure.
Because they said you asked for permission.
Yeah.
Is that courtesy or?
Yeah, I mean, they could have.
Okay.
So then with the Avs, before that, they lost in 2009, 2010. They made it to, in the old playoff format, they made it to the conference quarterfinals. They missed the playoffs for 3 straight years. They got to the first round in the first year of Patrick Waugh, and then they missed it again for 3 straight years. So they were kind of in that similar where the Preds have been of like trying to be competitive, but also kind of building for the future. But in that time, that's when they ended up with McKinnon and Makar.
Well, I mean, they got lucky. They drafted well and got lucky with the guys. It happens. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions that will be asked tomorrow of him about the franchise and the future and his philosophy and his plans, and then sit back and let him go. They draft 10th. Where's their draft? Where's their first round this year? 10th. Okay. And is this the year they've got a lot of guys? They got a lot of draft choices.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He's got a lot of draft capital to work with to add to this team now.
Okay.
Like if they wanted to go make a run at Brady Tkachuk, I think they could do it. Depending on how much they'd have to give up. But I mean, I think they could do it. That's the question. Is that the move? Is that the right move right now for the Predators?
Let me ask you this question. How much is Nashville, and if you're a young guy, selling? I know it's about money. I get all that. But if the money's the same, and these guys absolutely, because you've talked to him, I've talked to him, these kids love Nashville.
They do.
They love coming to Nashville. And I think now that's a good selling point for, I don't think it matters to NFL guys. I don't think they care, but I think NHL guys do.
Yep.
They like coming here.
Oh, no question. I think they do. We'll continue the reaction. 615-737-1025. It's Chase and Big Joe. Chris MacFarland has been hired as the president of hockey operations and general manager for the Nashville Predators. We'll continue to discuss that next. Chase and Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday, taking your reaction to Chris MacFarland being hired as the president of hockey operations and general manager of the Nashville Predators. A big day for the Preds. There'll be a press conference tomorrow at 11 where he will officially be introduced and can meet with the media for the first time. But I think the great part about this, Joe, as you've pointed out, is just how positive the reaction is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing. People want a winner, and they love the Nashville Predator. I mean, I'm a huge Nashville Predator fan, and I think this is great. And I like to see all the interaction, people being fired up about it. And then I'm telling you, nothing has been fantastic more in covering sports in this town than watching that Preds. In 2017, the run of the Stanley Cup final and the parties and the event and the fans traveling to Pittsburgh and part of that and seeing all it up there. It was truly special, man. And I want to get back to that again. And that begins by winning, getting the playoffs and having fun. And everybody thinks this is a great first step towards that. And I'm interested to see what Wyshynski's of the world, Robbie Stanley's of the world think about this. And I value their opinion about what this means for the franchise.
So it's looking like Sean Henry is going to call us at 2:00. So we will hear Sean's first comments on this hire when he calls in at 2.
Good.
And working on Robbie as well.
And not 2:01, Sean Henry, or 2:02.
Well, we got to be on time too. So
yeah. We will be at 2:00 and see what it is. It's a big day. Again, it's your third general manager in nearly 30 years, which says a lot about the continuity of the team. And look, I understand they've never won a Stanley. I know all that. But the fact they've had that continuity.
Robbie Stanley going to join us in about 20 minutes.
Okay. What's he got to do? What's he doing?
He's picking up Rex Road's laundry, probably. I don't know.
Good. Oh. I'd rather pick it up than take it.
I'm kidding. So we'll get Robbie's reaction, which will be good as well. But again, like looking at our text line, at the YouTube chat, I feel like most people like this. And now the question is, what are you going to do with the roster?
Are you curious who else was on their radar to see who else they will talk to and maybe it came down to? Was it 2 or 3 people? I know obviously he's the guy, but I'm just curious who else they interviewed. Will that ever come out? Probably not.
I don't know. That's a good question. I would be curious of that too.
And see who they talk to.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was a popular job. I mean, again, it's one of 32.
It
but
is.
2, I think Nashville is a really intriguing market.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, don't you think too that there is that a little bit of that? Well, I want to be the one. I want to be the one to finally bring a Stanley Cup to Nashville.
Heck yes.
And like
you just brought up earlier about the Carolina Hurricanes,
right?
In 2006. I mean, Laviolette is forever in the lore of greatness because he brought Carolina a Stanley Cup.
Raleigh, North Carolina has a championship.
Right. Isn't that crazy? And so Nashville can't too. They came so close in 2017 and get back doing that with, I think they've got a solid nucleus of guys. Just need more parts around them to get there. And I always thought the 2017 team had guys that had 3rd and 4th chances in the league. The Vern Fiddler, the Zoner Chucks, guys like that, oh man, in my last rodeo, what to do. And I think that team needs that. And you identify guys that could come in and do that and put it together and gel and win games. And it's kind of cool, man. I mean, doesn't happen every day. The Titans have had 7: Floyd, Reinfeldt, Rustin Webster, Robinson, Rand, and now Borgonzi. They've had 6.
Do you count Brinker?
No.
In that?
Full-on GM title. So, and you see what that got you, right? So at least this time with 3, and maybe this guy could be here 10. If this guy's here 15 years, Predators have won a Stanley Cup. Not a doubt in my mind.
Well, I think I'll say it. I think under Chris MacFarland, they will win the Stanley Cup. I don't know when. I don't have a timetable. I know everybody wants to know, like,
right.
Well, win. I think this guy knows what he's doing. They will win the Stanley Cup
before the Super Bowl gets here. That'd be great, right? That'd be so good if they went like in 29. The 28-29 season, the Preds win the Stanley
you
Cup.
know what would be freaking amazing? If 2029, the Titans are clicking and they're there, and Cam Ward's one of the big dogs in the National Football League, and the Preds are winning the Stanley Cup.
I would see the Preds win before the
29. Yeah, well, all right.
heading into that
Preds
season.
win in 29. Titans win the Super Bowl when it's here in 30.
Boy, that's something, isn't it?
So then you would have back-to-back years where you'd have the Stanley Cup final in your city, and then you have the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. It'd be fantastic.
When did the Avs win 22? They won the Stanley Cup?
Yep.
So the
21,
Broncos
22.
won in 15. So there's a 7-year gap there.
But the Nuggets won.
Nuggets did win.
Like the next year.
And that's Kroenke's team as well.
Yeah, was it the year before or the year after? But yeah.
Something like that, right?
He had a good couple of years.
And the Rams won.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So he had a good few years.
I think he owned something else too that won a championship too. So yeah,
he owns like a
was it lacrosse?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah. And they won it too.
Pretty good. So, but him and so I think Haslam wants to win. I mean, obviously owners want to win, but I think Haslam's a winner.
I hope so.
Right? There's some owners that really don't care about whether or not. Just the bottom line is, what's the owner for the Jets, Woody Johnson? I don't think he cares. But I think Haslam's all in, man. And we talked to him back in December when the Saban news broke like that, and he's a fan. I mean, Haslam's a fan of this hockey team. I know he owns them, but man, now you got somebody in here and you can roll with it. It's a new day for the franchise, and should feel good about that.
615-737-1025. So Robbie Stanley will join us at 1:45. Sean Henry around 2 on the program. So we'll get a reaction from both of them, but continue to take your reaction at 615-737-1025. It's Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at 1025 The Game for live shows and exclusive content. Lots of people weighing in on the Chris MacFarland hire in our YouTube chat right now and hanging out watching us. So hello to the people. Let's go to the phones for a reaction. James in Centerville wants to weigh in. James, what's up?
I'd just like to comment on what you guys said about winning the Stanley Cup. I absolutely think that will happen with him. But, I mean, for me and most of the people that I know that are Preds fans, they kind of expected this with this hiring. And I think that he could set us to the Stanley Cup final.
Cool. Thank you, James. Appreciate the call.
Hey, you're welcome, guys.
Thanks, James.
Appreciate that. Well, yeah, look, I mean, I think there's excitement. JC in Goodlettsville. This is an interesting text to put things in perspective. The Predators were the second fastest franchise to 1,000 wins, and they would have been the fastest if not for a long losing streak at the beginning. People who want to blow up and rebuild have never competed. Love the path our franchise has been on. Have some work to do now, especially with Saros' bad contract. And look, that is one that is going to have to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
There are several contracts that have no movement clauses and no trade clauses, which, you know, kind of looking at that, I feel like that was something David Poile never really wanted to do, and that was something that Barry Trotz did. So how does Chris MacFarland navigate those waters? You know, because I don't think you want to get rid of all those guys. I think obviously somebody like Yossi, you leave it up to him. Like if he wants to be a part of this, great. If he doesn't, then, you know, you certainly respect his wishes to want to win a Stanley Cup.
Right.
You know, but I mean, there are some contract. I mean, I think one of the big decisions is if you are going to keep some of these veterans, is Jonathan Marchessault one of those guys? Or are you going to try and move on from him? Because I feel like it hasn't worked here. So, you know, what does that look like? That's going to be one of the big decisions he's going to have to make.
And when does it have to be made? Soon?
Yeah, I mean, you want to do that before
July 1st?
Really before the draft.
Okay.
Because if he's like, hey, I'll waive my, you know, I think I need to get out of here too, I'll waive my trade protection, then the draft is where you can probably try and move it.
So does he have carte blanche?
Who?
MacFarland.
Yes.
I mean, I know you got to run it through I mean, I still got the owner, but the fact that it's like there's no like he's got to run this up to somebody on the same level.
I've that's a great question that needs to be asked tomorrow. You know, is this more of hey, I got to go to Bill Haslam and say, or go, you know, do you go to Sean Henry, which is he the, you know, the conduit,
right?
But do you have to go to ownership and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do? Or is it a, hey, just so you know, this is what I'm doing?
Right.
Because those are two different conversations. And in my opinion, you know, the problem with the other professional organization in town that's not the soccer team has been there's been way too much of asking permission. Whereas, you know, in this situation, how I interpret it is, hey, this is your job and we trust you to do it. That you don't need to come ask now, there's certain things that you're going to give ownership a heads up on. Like if you're going to trade Roman Yossi, you're probably going to pick up the phone and call Bill Haslam.
I would hope so. Yes.
You know, but remember David Poile has told the story when he got the job in Washington, and I always forget the name of the player, but he got the job in Washington and he traded the owner's favorite player. And the owner called him and basically was like, I hope you know what you're doing, and hung up the phone. Well, It turns out that he knew what he was doing, and, you know, he built a good team.
Right.
But my thing is, that's the power that I want Chris MacFarland to have.
Sure.
That I want, you know, I want there to be some courtesy. Like if, you know, he'll call, hey, Mr. Haslam, just so you know, Roman and I've talked. We're gonna trade him. I just want to give you a heads up. That's fine. But there doesn't need to be any no, wait a minute. You know, like you have to trust him to do his job.
No, and I think if you do that, and then I think one of the worst things would be for Haslam to come down and knock on your door and say, "Hey, Chris, you got a quick second?" Like, oh God, this is the
right.
end.
And I think that's what happens at another place.
In my crack research now, Chris MacFarland went to Pace University. That's in New York, and I think if my dates line up, he graduated college with Rachel Ray, celebrity chef.
Really?
Yeah. This is what I do in my free time over here is I I look up nonsense facts on people on Chris MacFarland.
Dustin in Hopkinsville wants to weigh in. Dustin, what you got?
Yeah. So I called this last week. I said, it's like Friday. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen probably about midweek. Happen a little early. And if it didn't happen this week, it's the other guy who's still in the playoffs. But neither here nor there. People talking about you don't know sports if you're talking about a rebuild. We've had this same dang core with Forsberg, Yossi for what, a decade, and we've been to one Stanley Cup. They're getting no younger. The value for them, we're just going to keep the nursing home. Not saying those guys are really old, but things are starting to wear out. Injuries start to come on more often. You go get value. Other people see that. They had people paid to watch players and determine if they're worth the trade. So
Sure.
you want to get what you can out of them. It's your most assets. The Avs weren't good for a while, but now they are. They got a bunch of young players, and then one of them is the best in the league. I mean, you can't stay married to these players out of feelings. This is, at the end of the day, is also a business, and the business is get your butt in the stands. And we got to hurt your feelings sometimes and get rid of your favorite players and get new ones in here because we start winning. We can't listen to all these fans. I mean, I'm one of them, but, I mean, it's business at the end of the day.
No, I agree with you. Thanks for the call, Dustin. Appreciate it, as always. I mean, look, it's the old saying of if you listen to the fans, you're going to end up sitting with the fans.
That's right.
And he made a really good point that I'm glad he brought up. Chris MacFarland is walking in here with zero connections to anyone in the Nashville Predators organization.
Not bad.
To my knowledge. But, like, he didn't know Roman Yossi. He didn't know UC Saros.
Right.
He didn't, so he can come in and have a full, unfiltered evaluation. And look, he's going to hear from people. I mean, Barry Trotz is an advisor. Barry's going to tell him some stuff. He's going to talk to the coaches. They're going to tell him stuff. He's going to talk to Sean. He's going to tell him stuff. But at the end of the day, he makes his own decision. If he's like, no, this is what we're going to do, then that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And you hope it's the right move.
Well, I mean, he's been around the league. He's 56 years old. It's
Right.
not like he's 27. I mean, he's been around the league. He's been part of winning franchises and winning a Stanley Cup. So he knows what he's doing. And look, I think Bill Haslam's a very, 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 very smart man. And he's not going to hire somebody that's like, well, I kind of think he knows what he's doing.
Right.
No, that's not happening.
Craig in Hendersonville on the GM hire. Craig, what you got?
Hey, guys, exciting day. Do you guys feel like this is with MacFarland? This feels very much like a blank slate to me. It didn't feel like that when Trotz came in. This feels like a completely open board. Yeah. And you guys were talking about players, Marchi, keep him, UC, keep him. I don't think we're going to know that until we find out what MacFarland wants to do with the coach, and then we'll find out. And I think that's the exciting part. There's a lot of possibility, a lot of moving pieces here. It doesn't really matter right now about contracts when we find out who the coach is going to be. But, man, it just feels like it's wide open. I'm pretty psyched about it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And thank you for the call. Appreciate it. It does feel like – it feels like you have something – like look,
right.
Barry Trotz has put something he can build on. He's got a ton of draft assets that he can use. You do have some young players that I think you're trying to figure out what they are. But – it's not like you have nothing in the cupboard to work with.
Sure.
So you're coming in, and now you have a new vision and somebody that can decide this is what I'm going to do with it.
A good point about when Trotz was hired, because we were all like, oh, yeah, man, we love Trotz. And, he'd won the Stanley Cup in Washington and feeling good about this. And it just didn't work out, and that's okay. right? It didn't work out, and that's okay. Now you got MacFarland coming here, and you're right. You got some assets, you got some players that you could build upon and go forward. But he makes a good point. I mean, right now, there's nothing new. I could yelp and moan about the Saros contract all day long,
Sure.
which I think is awful. It does no good right now. It does absolutely no good right now with the new general manager. He'll deal with that in his own time, and hopefully Saros can come back and play at the highest level that they need him to. But right now, I don't think that's a question for him.
615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll check in with Robbie Stanley, one half of Robbie and Rexford, also writes for NHL.com. Get his reaction to the Chris MacFarland hire. That is all next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. As we've been reacting to Chris MacFarland being hired as the Predators' president of hockey operations and general manager. Very exciting day for the organization. He will officially be introduced tomorrow at 11 o'clock at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. That's where they will hold a press conference that'll include obviously him, Sean Henry, who's going to join us a little later, and the owner, Bill Haslam. But let's say hello to Robbie Stanley, one half of Robbie and Rex Road, mornings from 6 to 9 here on 102.5 The Game, and also does some work for NHL.com. Robbie, what's up?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Well, the gold smoke is finally flying out of Bridgestone Arena. What do you think of the hire?
Well, I think if you're a Preds fan, it's exciting. I mean, he's a guy that's got a lot of experience doing a job with a successful organization, and now he's being handed the reins. And, you know, if you talk to people in Colorado, Chris MacFarland was pretty influential in building their roster up over the past decade plus. And I know Joe Sakic, you know, at the time they won the Stanley Cup, was the general manager, and then Joe Sakic moved up to the president of hockey operations, and MacFarland has been the GM since then. So, you know, Sakic ultimately has been in charge of the Colorado Avalanche. But from people you talk to there, MacFarland has been pretty instrumental in that process. So I think reading the tea leaves here, it's pretty clear that MacFarland was somebody that Bill Haslam and the people involved in this search with the Predators really wanted to speak to for some time. And they had to be prepared if they were going to execute this move to offer him a significant promotion and I think probably significant money. And we'll see whether or not that information ever comes out. But it appears that they've done both of those things, and now here they find themselves with a new president of hockey ops and general manager.
So in your mind, what's his first move that needs to happen?
Well, I think the most immediate move is you need to figure out what you're going to do with Andrew Brunette and whether or not he's the head coach next season or whether there's somebody in mind that you have that you want to bring along with you. And then, I mean, not too far from now, you've got a draft strategy that I think will already be in place from the AGMs that have done the work there. You got free agency coming up. And I think MacFarland specifically is going to have to figure out what he wants to do this offseason with some of these veteran guys. You know, Jonathan Marchessault is probably the first name that comes to mind. But, I mean, I would be, if I'm Bill Haslam and Sean Henry and the Predators, like I would be open to pretty much anything. Like whatever MacFarland has to say, I would be exploring a lot of different options with these veteran guys. Be that Stamkos, like, you know, there's some buzz out there. Pierre LeBrun put this out there a few months ago about, like, keep an eye on Roman Josi and what that situation could look like. And, you know, what does Josi think about the future and where this is all headed? I mean, we all know that, you know, he has played more hockey in his career than he's got left in his career. So I think all those things will be on the table and should be on the table. And it's up to Chris MacFarland. Whatever he wants to do, I would follow that lead if I'm Bill Haslam and the Predators.
Robbie Stanley is with us. So kind of along those lines, do you think with the 10th overall pick, you obviously had a high draft pick last year, you've added, you know, the cupboard's not bare. I mean, we can evaluate Barry Trotz's moves, but I mean, he's got a lot of draft assets to hand over to MacFarland that you can use to pick players or trade for players. So do you kind of stay the course of keep some of these veterans and build along with that? Or do you think he comes in here, looks at it and goes, I think tearing it down is the ultimate goal? How would you kind of evaluate that of how he might look at it?
Well, I think you really need to determine what you've got in your young guys. Like, how good are the young guys that you've got in the pipeline? And if you feel like those guys are good enough to be your next core, well, then it doesn't require a full teardown, right? Like you leave spots open this year for some of those guys, whether that's Brady Martin or maybe Tanner Molendijk finds his way into the lineup this year. But like I'd be very surprised if Chris MacFarland came in, looked at Roman Josi, Philip Forsberg, UC Saros, and Steven Stamkos and those guys, and thought it, you know, with Stamkos and O'Reilly and Josi being in their mid-30s, that was the way to go to try to win a Stanley Cup in the next 2 years. I don't think that's realistic. I think if you're looking at the roster objectively, you know that's not realistic. And so to me, it's about what your belief level is going to be in these young guys. It doesn't necessarily require a complete teardown because theoretically, if you've hit on some of these young guys, some of that work's already been done for you. But it's much more likely to go that route than looking at their current core and saying, yeah, I mean, they're right on the precipice of winning a Stanley Cup. I think we all know that that's not the case.
Robbie, we'll never find out. Curious to know who else might have gotten down to the final 2 or 3 for this job.
Yeah, I am curious. I mean, how close were they to hiring Tom Fitzgerald? I mean, there's other guys from Florida that have been really, influential parts of their organization, their success over the last couple of years. There's rumors that they talked to maybe a couple of people from Dallas. I'd also love to know because, I remember Elliot Friedman talking about at the beginning of this search, it could be pretty exhaustive and maybe they even look outside of hockey for some of those options. So I'd love to know if there's ever any details that come out about that. I don't know how willing Bill Haslam would be to share information on that stuff. But yeah, like from everything I kind of read about and hear about on this search, it sounds like they talked to a lot of people.
Are you curious? Another curious question about how much Nick Saban had a say in this?
For sure. And I think, Nick Saban's not going to get in a room with Chris MacFarland and ask him to start drawing up, hockey plays and going over, everybody who's available in the league and discussing their strengths and weaknesses. But I think Saban's a guy that, he understands, how a winner is built and what a winning mentality kind of looks like. So I'm sure there's at least been some conversation that Nick Saban has had with Chris MacFarland there. I'd love to know the details of that.
A lot of chat and chatter on the YouTube and the text line about the future of Andrew Brunette. Where do you stand on this?
I will remain consistent on this. To me, it should be 100% up to Chris MacFarland. And I am hoping for the Predators' sake that they're not coming into this with any pre-existing kind of notions about it. I mean, I would look at Chris MacFarland and I would say, if you have somebody that you want to hire and bring with you, do it. You have full reign to bring in a new head coach if that's what you want to do. If you don't, and there's nobody that's available right now that you feel great about being a head coach, well, we've got Andrew Brunette under contract for another year. We'll see how that year goes, and you can make a decision after that. But I would not, if I'm the Predators and Chris MacFarland wants to bring in somebody else as head coach, you would get zero argument from me. That's the way you go. It should be 100% up to him.
Well, the other thing too that I wonder if this would be part of the strategy is you hang on to Brunette for this year to kind of evaluate, but also focus more on the roster, but also knowing that Jared Bednar's got 1 year on his contract and there was already talk about, could they make a change, which they've decided to keep him at least for this year. Could that be in play?
Could be. I mean, I think, first off, I think he's a really good coach. But, I don't think you can put all your eggs in that basket. Like, what happens if Colorado goes out there next year and wins the Cup? Well, that probably means Jared Bednar is going to be back in Colorado on a long-term deal. So that's a risk if you go that way. But certainly, there's a pre-existing relationship there. He's an excellent head coach. And if you don't love your options right now, there's no harm in waiting with Andrew Brunette involved. Like, Andrew Brunette is not a bad head coach. I think you've got an okay option there. But I'm just saying I would leave it up to MacFarland. Whatever he wants to do would be the way I'd go if I'm Bill Haslam.
I know a lot of people are going to say, use some of this draft capital that you have, call Ottawa and try and swing a deal for Brady Tkachuk. And if that's ultimately what they did, I wouldn't hate it by any means. However, they're not a Brady Tkachuk away in my mind from winning the Stanley Cup. Do you think that the goal should be to focus on building for the next 2 years to potentially be in a position to go fishing for a Connor McDavid or an Austin Matthews if they were to become available in 2 years?
Yes, 100%. And I think you're going to have a lot of teams around the NHL thinking that way. We'll see if both of them make it to free agency. At this point, I would be very surprised if neither of them make it to free agency. And I think the selling point, if you're the Predators, is going to be over the next 2 years, how do Brady Martin and Igor Surin at some point and Tanner Molendijk and all these young guys, Matthew Wood, that are part of this future here, can they show enough over the next couple of years where maybe you could attract one of those players? But yeah, I think if you're a team like the Predators or really any team that's in a similar situation around the league right now, if you don't at least have that in the back of your mind, I think you're doing yourself a little bit of a disservice.
Rob, we had some on the text line say this is a great day for the Nashville Predators. You agree?
I do. I think the most exciting thing for Predators fans is it's new blood, right? Like, this is the first time since they've been an organization that they have gone outside of the Predators family for somebody who's running their hockey ops department. And look, it may end up being a total disaster. They may end up winning the Stanley Cup. I have no idea. But I think that fact alone, that they've gone outside the organization and brought in somebody who's been with a proven winner that doesn't have any ties to this place, I think the reaction I've gotten from Predators fans that I know, very positive so far.
Robbie, appreciate it. I know you and Joe will have full reaction tomorrow morning starting at 6, but thanks for joining us.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is Robbie Stanley, one half of Robbie and Rex Road, morning 6 to 9 here on 102.5 The Game, and also writes for NHL.com. Coming up next, Sean Henry, the CEO of the Nashville Predators, his first comments on the hiring of Chris MacFarland. He joins us next on 102.5 The Game. Hour number 3, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. And what a fantastic day it has been as the Predators have hired Chris MacFarland as their president of hockey operations and general manager. And to talk more about that, he said he wouldn't talk about it until the hire was made, so we held him to that. Sean Henry, the CEO of the Nashville Predators, joins us now. Sean, congratulations. It's a great day for the organization.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's a great day for the city because, bringing in a person like Chris MacFarland, it just is a credit to everything that we've all built collectively, not just within the building. This is a place where he wanted to be and his family wanted to be.
So let's start with, obviously Barry made his announcement in February that he was going to retire. That's when this search started. Obviously with respect to his previous job with Colorado and Colorado making their playoff run like they did, when did Chris kind of come into view as somebody you wanted to at least talk to?
So remember when I told you I was going to talk about the whole thing until we hired someone?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I just said we're not going to talk about the process now?
That's fine.
I'm just joking, my friend. Seriously, day one, as soon as we started the search, and if you remember, we were working with CAA initially, he was the top candidate. I mean, he was the person that they put on there, and obviously we know who he is. And the whole thought was, well, would he come, and can we get him? And will Colorado even let us talk to him? So that's why we talked to, a fair amount of people, a lot of good people in this league, and there really, really are. It was a really neat process to go through. But he was always the guy that if he chose to, come to Nashville and Colorado let him, we knew pretty fast upon speaking to him that he'd be the perfect candidate and fit.
So now that it is, that it is done and he's got the president of hockey operations and general manager title, I'll ask a very simple question. What does that mean? What does that empower him to do?
Very similar to David Poyle. And remember, David's been the president of hockey operations and then our GM since, 2000 or 2001 through 2022, 23. And he's got keys to the entire operation. And, has a lot of autonomy. It's going to be fun to work with him. I've been fortunate to work with a couple of really, really good GMs in my career. And I'm looking forward, to the next 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, whatever it is, because he has a vision. There are things that we do really well that he's going to build upon. And then there are things that he's going to want to build out, a little bit more robustly. And he's done some incredible things in Colorado and in Columbus before that. And, he's going to be the guy architecting it, drawing it on the board, working with his staff and the whole organization to bring it about. So it's something to be able to turn the entire vision over to someone and then knowing that he's going to do a job better than we can even imagine it could be done.
Sean, how much of this is now that it's done and over with, just a relief that you feel like you got the guy?
Well, I'm really relieved that we got him. I really am. And again, that's not a knock on the other candidates because, there are a bunch of people and we were saying, well, if he can't come for whatever reason, we're going to be in a pretty good position here, or here. But when you're able to bring in the person that the entire league recognizes as just so respected and a winner and a builder, yeah, it's a nice relief. And not just because it's done, because I really do think we got the best possible candidate for our team at this time. It's a relief is a bad word, but it is like, all right. Now let's go.
Well, no, I understand it because the process is tedious and it's daunting and it's a lot of things and meetings and this and that. But they say a lot of great relationships. In the first 20 seconds, like this is the guy. Did you have that feeling?
Yeah, even before the kind of face-to-face, quote unquote, interview phase, you knew he was the guy before that. Because reputation speaks for itself and a chance to see him around in the past, and he's a Yankee fan. So how can you go wrong?
I'd have had him leave the room right then. Sean,
Bill Haslam almost did because Bill's a Braves fan. So
there you go, doing that. I was Robbie State was on earlier, and Chase and I've talked about this. With a big decision like a GM, if you had one or two people comment on the YouTube chat, the text line, and maybe a phone call, That's kind of like, man, are we really hitting the nerve? But we've had so much reaction today, Sean, across all the socials in a massive positive way. It's got to feel good that Preds fans care so deeply about this team, who you hire and what you do. It's got to be a good feeling for that.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, let's face it. Most decisions you make, I don't care what they are, you hope you win 65% of the people's favor in it. But it doesn't matter. You can have a brand new baby, hold the baby up, name it the nicest name in the world, and someone's going to take a shot at that poor little baby. And in this one, I don't report over social media at all yet, but some of our team has, and it seems like this is just overwhelmingly positive. Now, I'm sure there's, 3 weirdos that, don't like it because their Uncle Jim should have been hired. But all in all, it's really positive. And we just met with our entire organization and introduced Chris to everybody. And like I said, today's a great day. This is going to be a great week. It's going to be fun. We're going to great draft and go into the summer doing things. But the appreciation for today will just grow each and every month or season that we have moving forward, because he is going to have us take positive steps forward from where we are. And I can't wait when we have that parade in, a year or 10 years or 4 years or whatever it is. It's going to be because of this day. And I think for all the fans that are upbeat and positive about it, I think that's just going to get rewarded time and time again. So it does make it feel good when, some people are criticizing us for, like, quote, taking too long. I think one of those guys on your radio station, the guy is your guest columnist sometimes. And I thought to myself, what is too long if you get it right? And even those guys are like, well, it was worth it. And that's good news.
Sean Henry is with us, CEO of the Nashville Predators. I know this is, obviously going to be a question for Chris and a decision for Chris, but I will ask you, when does kind of the process of him and Andrew Brunette sitting down and talking philosophy, has that happened? When does that happen? Because obviously that's going to be a question that comes up of what this now means for the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a whirlwind for Chris and his family. I mean, he literally flew in today, he got here this morning or this afternoon, jumped right into meeting the entire staff, giving a tour of the building, and it's all these important meetings and calls. They start today, and there's a lot. It's funny, man. He's just rolling up his sleeves and he's getting going right away. He's here to stay now. I think maybe he'll take Father's Day off to get a tie and an ashtray or something, and then jump right back into it. So it's going to be fun. The combine's going on right now. Obviously Jeff Kelty's up there. Barry's with him. I'm doing some of our interviews, but draft prep is next. Talking to key leaders within the organization, within the team. All that's on his to-do list.
What does it mean too that Colorado was so supportive on this? Obviously, Joe Sakic and Mr. Kroenke and that entire organization to allow Chris to advance his career. He's obviously done a lot of great things there. We know what kind of organization that is, but it'd be easy for them to be like, nope, he's ours, but they didn't. And so what does that mean for them to be so supportive to him and to the Predators?
I think it speaks volumes to who Joe Sakic is and who Chris MacFarland is. And they built such a good relationship together over the past 10 plus years, whatever it is. And whenever anyone lets someone go to grow, it's just, I admire those people, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't. A lot of people know this is, mine, and they're greedy with it. And that doesn't help anyone. So first and foremost, Chris gets a lot of that credit too for forging such a wonderful relationship with Joe and the organization. And look, there's no secret why the Kroenkes win Super Bowls and Stanley Cups and NBA titles. I think Arsenal just lost, but they build a lot of winning cultures because I think they treat people the right way.
Sean, what's this been like with you and Mr. Haslam and everybody involved, like coming together with the main goal of improving this franchise? I'm a big fan of teamwork when everybody's pushing the same way. I got a feeling this was the same thing, right? Everybody kind of pushing the same way, wanting to see this franchise just get to that next level. I got that was kind of a fun thing for you guys to do.
You know what? You hit it right on the head, Joe. It was fun. And Bill and I forget when, a month or two ago, we were walking to the conference room to interview somebody, and we did most of ours together. And I said, Bill, what would 12-year-old Bill Haslam think about you walking in that room right now to hire a general manager? And we both laugh because and you and I talked about this a lot. You're always a 12-year-old when you're thinking about the passions you have for sports. And it was a lot of fun. But then you also got to see a guy like, our committee was Nick Saban, myself, Bill, Michelle Kennedy, Bill Wickett, and Barry Trotz and Chris Seagran, one of our owners. And it was fun afterwards, getting together, talking about what we all thought. We kind of mixed up who's in different meetings together. And it's enjoyable to watch how people get to know someone else to make an evaluation on who it can be. And I'll tell you, sitting in a room with Nick Saban, watching him, talk about a sport and development of players and mindset and evaluation and what do you think, it was really, really neat. I mean, here you have one of the greatest winners in sports history who's on your team to secure the future of your franchise. It was really, really neat.
Well, it's when you name that group, you have a multi-college football winning coach, you have a former governor, you have a Stanley Cup winning coach, you've won a Stanley Cup as an executive. I mean, you think about the who's who that's in that room, I'd have to pinch myself too.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And, we all have a good rapport with each other at the same time. We can all have pretty respectful disagreements too about, here you are. And especially when Chris was a hope, like I hope we can nail this guy. Then you're going through, who else would be a really, really good GM. And it was fun having those debates and, what was good, what was bad, where can someone be better, what's their ceiling, what's their floor. It's enjoyable. And, whenever you hire someone, I don't care what the position is or what the level is, there's an excitement because you believe in that person, no matter what the job is. And, it's like your honeymoon. That first day, you're so excited for what can be. And now your job is to get there, and grow together and work together. So it's the excitement doesn't start with the yes, or it doesn't stop with the yes. It just is the starting place.
I want to ask this too, because when you go through this process, there's obviously, three guys that have been with the organization for a long time in Brian Poyle, Jeff Kelty, and Scott Nickel that, they have aspirations too, but ultimately, they don't get it. They're working with Barry, they're doing their jobs, and they've done a fantastic job. So what does it say about those guys to go through this process along with you? And I mean, look, you have tough conversations with them, but they've also been so supportive of the organization and now ultimately the hire of Chris MacFarland. So what does it say about those three? Because I have a lot of respect for those guys.
As you should, and we all owe them a lot. The reason people want to come to Nashville or because of the things that those guys have created. When you look at some of the strengths that we have as an organization or a hockey operations organization, it's because of the work that they've done each and every day, for 28 years, 16 years, and 12 years. They've given it all. And there's no doubt in my mind, each one of those guys is going to be GM. I mean, they are talented, AGMs that will get the next level. There's no doubt in my mind on that. What was really rewarding is when you were talking to, the other candidates, the things that they were saying about, certain facets of our organization and about the individuals too. So now we're really fortunate, to have, the people in the organization that we have.
Sean, it's a big day, and it's like you said, the excitement doesn't end with the yes. There's so much more to do. And I know, look, fans have questions and what's next and what move's going to be made. That's the fun part. And we look forward to meeting Chris tomorrow at 11 o'clock at the press conference and getting to know him moving forward. But thanks so much for doing this. Congrats. It's fun. And we can't wait to see what's next.
It is fun. I appreciate you guys letting me jump on because I did make that commitment to you that, once it was over, I look forward to talking about it. So thanks for giving me that outlet. And
yes, thank you, Sean, for keeping
tomorrow.
your word. That's how special the guy you are. So thank you. By the way, real quick, Chase and I want to know if there'll be food tomorrow at the press conference.
You know what? I won't lie to you. I know I have a lunch set up afterwards where we have our ownership group coming on in after the press conference. I think we're going to have, I don't know, some sort of White Castles or something.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I hope Nick Barnowski feeds you, but now that he's a new father, he might be too busy to whip up the hamburger helper.
We'll see. Sean, thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Absolutely. Sean Henry, CEO of the Nashville Predators, joining us on the program, and just so much reaction, and you can hear the just the
Well, I
excitement.
like the transparency, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling me who's in the meeting, what's going on, and there's a name in there that we
Could you, but
all talked about, and it's Nick Saban, and I think it's great.
But think about that. Like if you're Chris MacFarland, Joe Dubin, Chase McCabe, whatever, you walk in and there is Sean Henry. And if you're in hockey, you know Sean Henry,
Yep.
who's won a Stanley Cup as an executive.
Sure.
There's Nick Saban. Need I say more?
Mm-hmm.
There's Barry Trotz, who's won a Stanley Cup.
Right.
Michelle Kennedy, who's very respected. Bill Wickett, who's been around and very respected. I mean, like you're sitting there looking, going, huh? So this is who I have to impress.
Would you? I know that's never happened, but would you have been comfortable had a player been in that committee? Like, I know it's an outreach, and like, I get that, but maybe a Yossi if he's of like.
I mean, that's a great question. Because I know Roman Yossi, I want to say yes.
Okay.
Because I think Roman is a very smart guy and knows the game, knows the organization, knows the city. So I want to say yes.
Is that I think it's a respect thing because Roman is your captain.
Yeah.
And that player X can go to Roman and say, hey, man, what's the latest? He's like, hey, I think, we're doing – I would like that conduit between ownership, player, and players.
But not every player gets that opportunity. I think you have to be a very special type player. Like, remember when the Titans were going through the coaching search and Cam Ward was like, hey, I want to be a part of it.
A lot of people didn't like that.
No offense. I don't need you in there.
Right.
If Jeffrey Simmons had said that,
yeah,
okay. So you've earned that right.
So it's a cachet you bring to the table.
Yeah, you got to earn the right.
Okay, I get it.
It's kind of like I think there are like if Aaron Rodgers back in the day, they're hiring. Well, like when they hired Mike LaFleur, he probably should have been. Somebody should have called him.
Yeah, right.
But not everybody gets that.
Right. I think with the clout Yossi has, it'd be great. Whether they did or not, it's not
right. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying. 615-737-1025. We'll continue the discussion. Chris MacFarland hired by the Predators as their new president of hockey operations and general manager. More next. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game, every day from noon to 3 here on the show. You hear me, you hear Joe, you hear Dr. Crane,
Right.
one of us.
I told Dr. Crane this one day. These are moments where I had a journalism professor in college who said there are very few days where you'll have big, bold headlines in the paper. I'm like, what? She's like, very few times we have like, we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
JFK is shot. I mean, those are big, bold headlines. In the sports world in Nashville, these are one of those days where you have the big, bold headline because this day doesn't happen a lot. I mean, for the Nashville Predators, in the age of social media, this is twice because you had Poyle announced in 97. There was no Facebook or social media. And then Trotz in 23. And then you had all the social media. So this is a big, bold type font day for Nashville sports.
So I'm going to ask this question now. And I'll give you my thoughts, and then I want to hear your thoughts. How are we going to remember general manager Barry Trotz?
Not well.
I think that is going to be the reaction by a lot of people right now. But I do wonder if that changes when you get a year or two removed, because did some of the moves he made set Chris MacFarland up for success?
It's a great question. It's a great response. I think our expectations, because he is so well liked, that we all bought in.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think there were some moves he made that didn't work.
That's fine.
And he'll admit that.
Yeah, not every move is going to work, but I think we're such big fans of him. Like, this is great. And the fact that it didn't pay off is a little disappointing. And that's okay. I mean, I'm sure he's disappointed as well to do that. Now, we could talk about bringing Stamkos here and all the guys 2 years ago. Was that the right thing? But I think the anvil in all this is the UC Saros contract. I really think that is something that I have no knowledge of anything. I think that's the one like, hey, you missed big time on that. That's it.
I don't want to I don't want to spend a lot of time arguing on that. I hear you, and a lot of people are going to feel that way, but based on the money and stuff, like, I think what scares people is the length of the contract and the fact that there's trade protection.
Can I tell you why I think this way? And I've got no base. I think somebody came in to the franchise, you know who it is, looked overall and said, you signed this guy to this deal and he's not elite, that's a problem. That's what I think happened. I think different eyes got on this and said, you signed this guy, big contract, long contract, and he's not elite, that's a problem. Yeah. I just think that stuck a craw on a lot of people. That's it.
To date, he's not.
Right.
I mean, but if you look at, again, we're going to argue about this, not you, I mean, in general.
That's fine.
Round and round and round, because I certainly can see both sides. But if you look at his stats regular season wise compared to a lot of goaltenders around the league, and then you look at the contract, it's actually a pretty friendly contract. But what scares people is the fact that there's trade protection and the length of the deal.
Yeah.
And the fact that he hasn't won a playoff series.
That, and then you got a guy who comes in who demands accountability and demands winning now, not 4 or 5 years, but like, all right, you're here, you're established. And again, this is just my feeling based on, and that's fine. If that's a new voice and fresh eyes coming in and say, you need to do that, I got no problem with that, because the guy I'm talking about is a absolute winner.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing. And like Robbie had a good point. They're not going to sit down and discuss third and fourth lines.
Nope.
If that gets to that point, then they need to all get out of there. But when you're talking about just impact on the team, and I think that had a long way to go with the with one guy, with Bill Haslam, maybe.
Yeah. Well, here's what I think. I think Stamkos bailed him out this year, because after the first year, we were all like, uh-oh.
Right.
And then after, at the first part of this year, we're like, oh my God, like, he's just forgotten how to play hockey. Then all of a sudden, I think there was a bit of a buy-in and a change, and he turned it on.
Yeah.
So he went from Now here's the funny part about all this. He had 53 points last year, 27 goals. There was a time where a Pred fan would have given their left arm for that.
Absolutely.
This year he had 42 goals, 66 points. You'll take that all day long.
Sure.
Right? I mean,
absolutely.
he had 81 points his last year in Tampa Bay, 40-41. But like if he's scoring 42 goals at 35 years old,
right,
sign me up.
Did Forsberg break 40?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had 2 40-goal scorers this year.
I mean, there's a foundation here.
That's on
right?
That's on Trott's watch. And Trott's flipped the roster. There were a lot of guys, and he did it in a very strategic and respectful way.
Yeah.
But there were some guys that he looked at as one, all right, we can get value for them right now. It sucks to move on from them.
Mhm.
Matthias Ekholm's prime example.
Yep.
But we need to. So we did. And then there were some that were younger guys that David Poyle had brought in that he looked at and go, I don't think they got it. And he got rid of them.
I know.
So he flipped a good chunk of this roster.
Right. Yeah. Right. I know we go to the break, but is the deal that isn't there a Predator guy playing for Vegas that the Preds are still paying? What was that contract? Or maybe
I think they're playing. They are paying Colton Sissons a little bit, but it's not a lot.
Who was the guy that they gave? Oh man, I wish I'd have known more about this. That they traded to Vegas, and the Preds are still paying something on him.
Hang on, and I can tell you. Well, they're still paying Turris,
right?
They're still paying Duchesne, on buyouts. Hang on. I think they're paying a little bit to Sissons. I think that's what you're thinking of.
Did Haig come from there?
Yeah.
Or
But they signed him as a free agent.
Okay. I just thought there was something that they're paying Vegas some money for a guy that they want to get. I don't know. Man.
According to Puckpedia, it's only Kyle Turris and Matt Duchesne.
Yeah, okay. I think they were, but I think it's off the books now.
Well, it's a brand new day, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll continue this and much more. Press conference tomorrow at 11. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 the game here on this Tuesday. A few people texting in, and thank you. They retained salary on Sissons, 50% of it, just for this past year. His contract's up after the season, so that was what it was. But it wasn't a lot.
So I'm not as dumb as you think.
No. I knew what you were talking about, something, but
right.
Fuzzy Bear, good job. 0178. Barry's tenure was discombobulated.
That's a good word.
Yeah. 0686 or Lauren says Trotz will be remembered based on how his draft picks do or what they bring if traded. Trading players away didn't work well for him. Everything else may not have brought wins, but didn't cost anything important either. Saros' contract is not big, takes at least $9 million to be big these days. He's not elite. His defense is below average too. So is the scheme.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, back to Trotz, it's tough to right now the eye test, no, wasn't good.
Right.
But you're right. I mean,
I think the further removed you get, the better it's going to look.
Okay.
I think it's one of those that the moves he made, you didn't really and look, there were some that didn't work. Like I think the Marchessault move, it hasn't worked. Stamkos has been okay. Shea has not lived up to the contract yet, and that one worries me a little bit. Saros, they'll always talk about that, but there's some moves that I've looked at, like what he did at the trade deadline this past year. He did what he needed to do. I think he traded off some expiring contracts and got draft assets, and I like that.
Yep.
So the other thing that I think people are going to look at is, and these are all the people that wanted Hines gone, but he fired John Hines, and who goes and, now granted, they've built that team to be a perennial playoff team. Bill Guerin has been working on that for a long time, but he's taken the Minnesota Wild to the playoffs, and Andrew Burnett's only done that once here.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's certainly going to be looked at.
Well, I think the biggest fan of McFarland's going to be Trotz.
Yeah.
Because McFarland has a lot of success. That is on to Trotz just a little bit, and that feels good like that because he kind of laid that foundation. So I don't know. It's a big day, man. I mean, they by all accounts on the Sean Henry, like he was their guy. Like that's who they had their sights set on.
They got to bring they got to work on the defense. I think the defense needs some attention when they go through free agency and trades and all that. But I mean, looking at Patrick Laine, probably I would say no. Ovechkin's going to he's either going to retire or go back to Washington. So you're not looking at that. John Carlson, probably not. Jacob Trouba, I might look at Trouba, not for $8 million, but I might look at him. There's just not a lot on the free agent table that really excites me.
So bring me some grinders in here, some dudes that just need that third opportunity and they know this could be it for them, and give me a year or two. That's why I like that 2017 team so much, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of older players that are hitting the market this year. But we'll have a lot of time to discuss that. That's for sure. But it's an exciting day. They got their guy. They got the guy they wanted, from what it sounds like, and we'll have the opportunity to see him tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
We're going to be doing the show there, and the plan is to be able to talk to Chris MacFarland after the press conference and potentially Bill Haslam as well. So,
and I know he's listening because he doesn't work, but Sean Henry, if the White Castles don't show up tomorrow for our interview down there, somebody's paid the price for that.
Okay, well, I don't even know what your Twitter handle is right now. I want to say at Big Joe on the go.
It's Fuzzy Bear, buddy.
It's Fuzzy Bear. For those that haven't figured it out yet, Joe got hacked.
I got hacked during the show. Not only did I get hacked during the show, they came after everything I owned. And folks then
they realized it wasn't a lot.
They're like, well, we did this for $8. Good God. Listen, have 2-factor authorization for everything. That absolutely saved my tail in the last hour.
Can you keep the Avi though?
The avatar is
hilarious.
I don't even know. What is it?
I don't know. But it's
my Twitter
Fussy.
followers.
I guess it's Fussy BAER is what they changed the handle to.
It's a bear who's looks really sweet and he's got cute blue eyes. I didn't set that up, but my follower count has doubled in the last 30 minutes. So thank you.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of followers.
What? All the responses to my ex account is just unbelievable, man. Oh my gosh. All right.
What a time. When we come back, well, of course, we have to do this because if not, what are we even doing? What day is it? And celebrity birthdays. Chasing Big Joe, 105 The Game. DVD is coming up next, and obviously they will have full reaction to Chris MacFarland being hired as the Nashville Predators president of hockey operations and general manager. And as Sean Henry told us earlier when I asked what does that mean, basically the title David Poile had for many, many years, that full control, he's the shot caller. It's his show now.
I dig it. Not a lot of middlemen. I like it.
Yeah, they've given him the keys, and I think that is going to be a good thing. Barry Trotz transitions into an advisor, and here's the thing about advisors: they give you advice. You can take it, or you can't, or you don't take it.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
And Barry knows that. I mean, that's fine. So I think this is going to be a fun summer, and obviously going to get better and better. He'll be introduced officially at 11 o'clock tomorrow at a press conference, and we'll have it all for you here on 102.5 The Game. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right. First on the docket today is I Love My Dentist Day. So shout out to the dental workers. American Indian Citizenship Day is today. National Bubba Day. If your name is Bubba. Shout out to Bubba. I got a cousin named Bubba, actually. Retired firefighter. National Leave the Office Early Day today. All right. National Rocky Road Day. National Rotisserie Chicken Day. And last on the list, and somehow this is on the list, Yell Fudge at the Cobras in North America Day.
That's crazy. Do you know fantasy leagues were originally called rotisserie leagues? Do you know why?
Why is that, Joseph?
Because in New York City, they would do fantasy drafts at a rotisserie restaurant, and so they call it the rotisserie league.
Huh.
True story. All right, time for celebrity
birthdays. The more you know.
Yeah, right. You're welcome, Fuzzy Bear. The more you welcome to all right, celebrity birthdays. Get these within 2 years on either side of their actual birthday. Chase, you go first. How old is the Walrus? Craig Stadler, PGA golfer. Craig Stadler.
74.
70.
73. Chase, you're up 1-0. Dr. Crane, how old is Kyle Petty today?
Saw him the other day.
Let's go 42.
That was his number back in the day. Kyle, I'm going to say 67.
66. 2-0 Chaser. Chaser, how old is Indiana head football coach Kurt Cignetti today?
63.
59.
65. Chase up 3-0. Dr. Crane, how old is former Braves relief pitcher, World Series champion Mike Stanton?
I'm going to go with 66.
61.
59.
Yeah, that's a point.
That's right. 4-0. Chaser, how old is Abby Wambach, the soccer player?
I just remember during the World Cup, the announcer would be like, Abby Wambach. Like that.
Is she the one that scored and took her jersey off?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that right? No, that was Brandy, somebody else.
I thought that was way back in the day. No, this is like, we're talking mid 2010s, Abby Wambach. She's super tall.
All right, different one.
Yeah.
42.
45.
46. It's now 4-1. Dr. Crane, how old is Dennis Haysbert? Dennis Haysbert. He was in Major League, the voice of Allstate.
Yeah.
He was on 24.
24, yeah.
That's right.
What was he in Major League? He was
Pedro Strong.
Pedro Strong.
Yeah. Joe Boo.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's see. Let's go with 61.
70.
72. Chase up 5-1. Chase, how old is Dana Carvey?
62.
63.
71. While we're yawning in there. Dr. Crane, how old's Wayne Brady?
Let's go with 59.
71.
54. The Wayne Brady, Dave Chappelle skit is a top 5 skit of all time in any type of show. Chaser, how old is Lex Luger? By the way, Wayne Brady's 54. Lex Luger.
The total package is 64.
60.
67. Dr. Crane, how old is AJ Styles?
AJ Styles is 41.
The phenomenal one, 47.
48. Chase up 6-1. Here we go. Lightning round. Here we go. Chase, how old is Jerry Mathers, the original Leave It to Beaver? How old's the Beav?
68.
72.
The Beav is 78. Dr. Crane, how old is bass player Michael Steele of the Bengals?
81.
72.
71. God, Chase is killing it. She's 71. Chase, how old is TV personality from your favorite show, Andy Cohen? Chase is up 7-1, by the way. How old's Andy Cohen?
From Bravo.
Bravo. Get the 411 with Andy Cohen.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I bet your girlfriend knows this answer.
Oh,
They all love Andy
I
Cohen.
know. I know
Right?
who he is because I have to watch him.
Right.
Andy Cohen, I don't know. 56.
54.
58. Chaser knows. 8-1. Dr. Crane, how old is where'd it go? Gummit, where are you here?
Some of those shows are so stupid that you can't look away.
They're all, and his ratings are massively
Oh, yeah.
popular for that. Dr. Crane, how old is rapper Be Real of Cypress Hill? Be Real of Cypress Hill.
55.
63.
56. And with that, Dr. Crane, you're done. 8-2. Another win for one Chase McCabe. You tried,
thank
though,
you.
buddy.
That's all that matters is trying, right?
Yeah, do it.
And trying to win.
As Homer Simpson said, the first step to failure is trying.
Trying is the first step towards failure.
That's it.
That's it.
Love that.
Going to be interesting to kind of see what happens for here or here on out with Chris MacFarland now that he's in. Sean Henry, pretty much laid it out there. I mean, like, this is his show now. He's got the keys to the castle, and the process has begun. I don't suspect we're going to find anything out tomorrow on Brunette, but we could. He could walk in there and be like, hey, we talked last night. We're going to move on. Or Andrew's going to be our coach or, whatever. But
does Trotz need to be there tomorrow?
No.
Will he be there tomorrow?
He's not on the list. But he might be, but I don't know.
Are we on the list?
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Crane.
Here's what I will say. I'm going to say this, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible. I know he's an advisor, and so, I mean, if he's around, he's around. But I think Barry's smart enough to know, similar to what David did, that this is his show. This is Chris's show now. So I'm going to exit stage left and be around some, but not a lot. And I thought David did a really good job of that. There were some things, obviously Golden Hall and things he needed to be at, but there were a lot of things that, David kind of stayed in the background. And I think Barry's going to do that too. I think Barry is there if you need him to be.
It's not bad.
But look, if David Poyle and Barry Trotz are there tomorrow, I think that's a great thing because that's just showing respect for Chris MacFarland.
Sure. Yeah. That'd be I forgot about that. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's kind of where I think it is. But we will see. It's an exciting day. I think they got a really good hire. I can't wait to see what happens now. And look, I think it's not going to all happen overnight. It's going to be a process, but it's going to be fun to watch.
I agree.
So I think that's where the fan base sits. I think they're excited about it. And we'll kind of go from there. But DVD is coming your way with full reaction next.
As always, we leave our show with a message to the guys out there. We get sometimes the days are dark and you're struggling and you feel like there's no way out. There is a way out. Like, we're here for you. Keep praying. Keep asking God for opportunities. Know how special you are. We say all the time, listen, we'd rather hear your story than go to your funeral. That's how much we love you and need you here. I know those are harsh words, but listen, after all you've been through, you are still here. And that's strong. That's on you, how great and wonderful and beautiful you are. You know how much we love you? Please know, more importantly, more than anything else in this world, how much God loves you.
Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming your way next. 102.5 The Game.